Well, here we go. We had a couple of bloopers with this particular warp. I didn't show all of them. Two things were I crossed some threads in the reed. I found it out when I only wove about an inch. It was an easy fix. However, I started weaving. I don't know if you can see here. There's some little loops sticking out, but all of a sudden there are no loops here. Well, what happened was when I was weaving, I was only catching the last edge thread every 8th time. Didn't really want those loopers, and since this is a pattern that it's not going to really matter, I'm not counting, it doesn't have to be exactly what it is, I basically cut it off. If you can see it here, here's the thread. I cut it off and I literally just threw it on the back of the loom. Since this is a hand-dyed warp, in one way it's kind of nice to have that thread, because if I need to fix an error or a breakage or something, I will have something that matches. If you are using yarn on cones, you can probably take some yarn from your cone, but I can't always do that. Now we have another blooper that I'm not going to fix right away, and hopefully some of you with a keen eye might be able to see it over here. I wove about 3 inches and I found this one. Can you see how dark this is here? Now it is hand dyed, but what happened was this reed is a 12 dent reed. What I had to do was thread the reed 1 2 1 2 1 2, but one time the 1 got in with a 2. So right here I have a 2 and a 3 right next to each other. So I have 3 threads that are in the reed. Now if you notice this pattern, if you look directly down at it, it's really not that noticeable. If it was a tabby weave, or maybe some thread that was wider, or thicker thread I should say, or maybe set wider, it would probably show. Well, as an executive decision maker in my weaving process, and even though I am a bit of a perfectionist and I know that's going to bother me, I'm going to leave that in. I'm going to weave the 2 panels that I'm going to do. As you can see, the fabric is all different colors, and then I'm going to cut off and retie it. I'm doing this, why? Well, because I hand dyed the warp and the weft, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough, so I want to make sure I have enough. And when it's all finished, machine washed and dried and sewn together, it really will not be as visible to the naked eye to most people except for fellow weavers.